Welcome back to the Michigan Business Beat on Michigan Business Network. Jeffrey Mosher sitting in for Chris Holman on the road. Well, recording remotely as we all are tended to do so these days. This time around, reaching out to the northern Michigan headquarters of ASK and Michael Maddox, President and CEO of ASK in the Rio Town neighborhood of Lansing, Michigan. Mike, welcome back to the Michigan Business Beat.
Hey, good morning, Jeffrey. It's good to be back with you.
Tremendous. Yes, and we're into a brand new year, and cybersecurity is obviously an issue that we speak with Just Ask frequently, and yet we probably haven't delved into this aspect of it, and would love to hear your thoughts on why cybersecurity is a leadership level responsibility.
You know, it's what a great question, because it's a topic that is near and dear to my heart and one that I speak about often. And I think there's a lot more awareness of the importance of cybersecurity from the leadership down today than there was a year ago because of the pandemic. The pandemic disrupted obviously everything in society, but one of the effects of the pandemic was that it dispersed the workplace, and it also introduced new technologies so that we could maintain productivity and efficiency and collaboration. And by doing that, it vastly increased the risk of cybercrime for businesses. And the other thing that I think goes along with that is that CEOs and executives all over the place, including myself, almost got a wake-up call to, we don't know the unknown. I mean, how many of us in 2020 in January had a brilliantly written business plan for 2020 that went out the window in March?
Right.
And so contingency planning, which is, cybersecurity plays a big part in that, is a C-level or a senior level, executive level role. So, to sum that up, I think that the two key reasons I would say is because the CEO's level, his role is to protect the organization from the seen and the unseen as best as possible to mitigate risk. That's cybersecurity. And then along with that, the CEO owns the responsibility of ensuring the safety and the continued operations, which are very much at risk if cybersecurity is not taken as a strategic business item.
That makes sense, but I think we should probably drill down and find out what are some of the questions that executives should be asking their teams about the security.
Yeah, so there's a lot that can be asked, and I get it that for a lot of executives, the whole concept of the IT function and how it's built and how it operates and how it's protected is almost an unknown entity. It's off in the IT department, and the questions historically have been more basic. Hey, are we protected from phishing attacks? I mean, what about this ransomware that's out there? What are we protected? And the answer they typically get from IT departments is, yeah, we're protected. Well, it's a much more complicated answer than that. Mitigating risk from ransomware or from phishing attacks is not a one-size-fits-all solution. So, and typically in the past, the way of doing that were things like a firewall, having good antivirus solutions, having some kind of email protection, web protection, patching your servers. Those things are important, but they're by no means sufficient today. They're necessary, but they're not sufficient. Proactive cybersecurity is completely different. So CEOs need to be asking things like, what have we done to train our staff on the identification of phishing emails? Do we have an ongoing training program? What are we doing in the case that there is a ransomware infestation in our building? How long would it take us to identify it? Do we have a method to identify it, to isolate it? And then can we recover whatever gets lost in that interim? There's concepts like recovery point objective. What point can we recover to? Recovery time objective. How much time can we be down while we recover? Those are the kinds of questions that a CEO can be asking their IT department. that will give them some insight as to whether they're really being protected or they need to dive into it further. 90% of the time, it's an area that needs to be looked at further because it is strategic to the business and there hasn't always been that connection.
And strategically, the leadership level's responsibility is also to the bottom line. So can you have a way to measure the ROI on that security investment?
I think that you have to, anything that's strategic to the business, you have to be able to measure ROI. And I often say that technology is completely meaningless to a business for technology's sake. If it's technology for the sake of technology, it doesn't have any meaning. Its only value is in its ability to increase productivity, increase profits, reduce inefficiency, reduce pain points, help you meet your strategic goals, increase collaboration. It can do all those things. And when it does those things, you can measure the ROI in both soft and hard dollars.
Tremendous. Well, Mike, thank you so much for spending some time with the Michigan Business Beat today.
Hey, thanks for having me. Good seeing you again, Jeffrey.
Excellent. Appreciate it. Yeah, Happy New Year. And once again, we've been speaking with Michael Maddox, President and CEO of ASK. They're housed in the Rio Town district of Lansing, Michigan. And we'll be back with more on the Michigan Business Beat on Michigan Business Network.